Hey, I'm John Thelen, host of Destination Fish TV. There's not much that gets by me nowadays when I'm out on the water because of my Humminbird Helix units. I mean, I pretty much see everything that's going on below the surface, and I'm pretty confident in knowing exactly what everything is. But every now and then I'll have a buddy out in the boat or a guest on the show that'll be a little bit surprised at what I tell them is a fish. And here's why. Fish are, they show up on your screen in a couple different modes, okay? Number one is when they're active. When fish are up and active, they're really easy to see. That's when a fish is up off the bottom and it draws us a little bit more of an arc and it's got really good color in it. That's an easy one, right? That's for sure a fish. But there's another scenario where I see a fish that some other people might not, and that is when they're tight down on the bottom, when they're in a neutral mode. And most of the time, here's exactly how it looks. You'll see that bottom, and then all of a sudden you'll just see a bump in the bottom. But here's the telltale sign. A lot of times people might think that's a rock down on the bottom, just a bigger rock, a bigger something down there on the bottom. When it's a fish down belly on the bottom, here's what it'll do. This Helix unit will put a little bit of color in there for me. That color might be below that fish down along the bottom, or it might be inside of it, but it's just a little bit of extra color. When I see that little bit of extra color, I know for sure that's a fish. He's just belly on the bottom. That's gonna be the perfect fish to come past with the Lindy rig, fishing down tight to the bottom. Don't overlook those fish because, it's easy to drive around all day looking for fish that are up. And there's certain time periods during every single day that fish lift and feed. But you gotta remember something, they spend more of their time in negative or neutral modes than they do in active modes. So when those fish go into that negative or neutral mode, they go down to the bottom. They'll still bite, you just gotta talk them into biting and you gotta fish where they're at. So if you're paying attention to fish, not only that are up, but fish that are down in that neutral mode, you're gonna be able to catch them, and these Humminbird Helix units will actually show that to you. So pay attention to when you're seeing those fish down on the bottom. It's just gonna be that little bit of extra color and it'll almost look like an extension of the bottom. But if you see that color in there, that's fish. Don't drive past them and not fish them. You can make that fish bite. Turn back around and go catch them.